Then think, is there a temple aside from this body temple that can give forth all of these virtues, unless they are endowed with them by this great glorious body temple, the first and only temple not made by human hands? Is it any wonder that God chose to abide and be at home within this glorious body form, this form divine, this God temple body that completely renews itself? Then let us cast about and see how and why this body has been so degraded. We have been taught by sacrilegious, deceitful, ignorant, profit-seeking individuals, with but a smattering of the real truth, that this body is weak, sinful, imperfect, inferior, abnormal, subject to disease, decay, and death, that it is conceived in iniquity and born in sin, and every other thought and expression that immoral man can conjure up. First, let us think and look into the past and see and understand just where and how these teachings, thoughts, and words have gradually drawn us into the terrible vortex and miasma of sin, duplicity, sickness, failure, and last, the greatest dishonor of all, death. Let us view with a clear vision the results that this dishonest perfidy, and see to what extent it has led us into the dishonor of this perfect God-body form. Then from that moment on, let us truly forgive, thus forget, and let it pass from our lives, our thoughts, our actions, and our whole experience. Again, let us keep forgiving and forgetting it until every vestige of the experience is completely erased from our subconscious thoughts. It is within the subconscious thought process that it has, by repetition, been engraved as in a phonograph, through vibratory influence, until it repeats to us these records over and over, again and again, until we believe they are true. The photograph of yourself, or any friend or individual, is but the record of the vibration of that body form. It is in this way that the thought forms, or the forms of the spoken word in vibration, are recorded in the subconscious, and it has the ability to repeat it to you. Then let us think just for a moment how we have trained ourselves to accept and believe and worship these degrading untruths. Then let us think or suppose just for a moment that we had never heard or been taught these words of untruth, and that they had never been lodged into our vocabulary. We would never have known them, or accepted, or learned, or believed, or worshipped them. If we are capable of learning them and believing them, we are far more capable of unlearning them by demanding that they leave every time they come up and are repeated to us from the subconscious. Just say to them, "You are completely forgiven, so leave me entirely alone." Then say to your subconscious, "Just erase all of those and accept no record, only the truth as I set it forth." How can you express youth, beauty, purity, divinity, perfection, and abundance until you see, feel, hear, and know them, and put them forth in thought, word, action, and expression? Yes, by worshiping them. By so doing, you impress them on or into your subconscious thought, and this subconscious thought reflects those thoughts back to you from the pictures you have presented to it, through the vibration that you have established or set up there. You will soon find that it is no more trouble for the subconscious thought to repeat the truth that you are sending forth to it, than it is to repeat the former untruths that you have previously imposed upon it. The more you impress the truth upon the subconscious by love and worship, the more it will send it back to you. This is where you are the master. For by forgiving the untruths and letting go of them, you will find that you have mastered them. You are above and beyond them. They are forgiven and forgotten. You will find by talking to your body, the subconscious of you, and knowing that what you are saying is the absolute truth, it outpictures For if this that you are telling your body is not the truth, you would not have a body. You would in no way be able to think, act, move, speak, feel, see, hear, breathe, or live. Then the greatest privilege in the world is to know that all are the same and have the same power that you have, that they as well as you have the same powers, and that they as well as you have never lost that power. They, as well as you, may have perverted their thoughts about that power. But these perverted thoughts have never in any way changed or diminished that power. For when we change to true thoughts, words, and actions, we find that power flows through our body, and we readily feel the glory of its response. Yours is the power to do this completely. You have given limitation dominion over your thoughts. Simply break that shell that you have allowed yourself to be encased in, and you are freedom itself. Know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. And next is a question-answer. Question: is it true that you were in India in person and experienced those things in the body as recorded in the books which you wrote? Answer: we have never in any way been able to travel in the astral condition and have used no method outside of the physical method we know today. They were actual physical experiences. Question: if you knew that Jesus could be contacted anywhere, why did you go to India to unearth these truths? Answer: we did not go there for that purpose. Question: have you personally ever transported your physical or astral body? Answer: I know nothing about the astral body. We have had our physical bodies transported many times. We have never been able to determine how it came about. But the very fact that it was brought about is proof that it can be accomplished again. It is only a matter of going about it in the right way. Question: does lack of forgiveness limit the power of our love? Answer: there is no limit to love or forgiveness or principle. We can use them in every direction for every condition. Just let go of the condition and revert back to principle. The moment we have forgiven, we are right back to principle. And now there's a next chapter is Men Who Walked with the Master. I think many of you have planted seeds or set out plants and loved them and watched them grow. Plants will respond very readily. Luther Burbank never sent out a plant from his garden unless it responded to his voice. George Washington Carver did the same thing. I worked with George Washington Carver, and I knew Luther Burbank from the time he was 6 years old. Luther Burbank always said, and it disturbed his mother and father very much because they did not understand it, that Jesus worked with him all the time. One Sunday afternoon, he walked with his father over to visit a neighbor. They took a shortcut through the fields and passed through a potato patch. As children will do, little Luther Burbank ran ahead. It was at the time when the potato blooms were ripening. One stem was standing up a little higher than all the others, and Luther stopped to look at it, and his father said when he came up that the father said when he came up that the flower was waving back and forth, and the boy said to him, "Papa, that's talking to me." Well, the father told my father. I thought the boy was going wrong, and I hurried him on and went over to the neighbors. All the time they were there, Luther was anxious to return, and finally about 3:30 they started homeward. They returned through the same potato field, the boy rushing ahead and going directly to that same plant. There was a great calm over the field, not a leaf moved. When the father came up to where the boy was standing, that tall seed pod was moving again, back and forth. And Luther said, "Papa, I want to stay here. Jesus is talking to me and telling me what to do." His father took him home, made him do his chores, and sent him to bed. In a short time he found him stealing downstairs, trying to get out of the house. He was sent back to bed 3 different times that night. By that time it was 11 o'clock, and the parents thought the boy was asleep for the night.